Ed Volkman, Executive
The
Deputy.
governor has put $50 million this year into career readiness. $10 million is going out through actually the formula, which is driven out for our CTCs. And then we're looking at the other $40 million being divided up in multiple ways. $25 million for STEM education. We're looking at $3 million of that, obviously, for internships and that kind of thing. So we're actually starting a couple of pilots, one with Steelton High Spire School District this summer, educator in the workplace. Now, I've been in the business a long time, and so you're all too young, but there was a thing in the old days where you'd have educator in the workplace. But now we're very serious about it, like a full summer internship really for teachers. And we're doing the same thing with students. The governor's goal is that by 2025, 60% of all of our graduates in Pennsylvania will have some form of either post-secondary credentialing, that they will have a college degree, or that they will be industry ready, industry certified and ready.
But before we give an overview of the county, because that's important to know, and an overview of the district, let me introduce my guests today. So we'll start with Julie Bish, is our St. Mary's Area Association president. Brian Weibel is the high school principal at Du Bois area. And Dr. Joseph Nairn is the founding president of the Northwest Regional College. Ann Young, who is the curriculum director at Du Bois. Sam McDonald, the president of Elk County Catholic School System. And Eric Wolf, who is with Horizons Technology, but Eric heads what's called the Manufacturing Education Employee Advancement Group, which is just a powerful group that many of the businesses suck our kids right in there as soon as they graduate.
We're seeing trends now over the last 5-10 years where a lot of these jobs are coming back because of the very investments that you're talking about. You know, where we are once again becoming a low-cost producer in this country, not because of, you know, cheap wages and that type of thing. It's because, you know, of technology that's allowed us to become low-cost producers again in this country. And where the trends are more and more, where we're seeing those manufacturing jobs coming back. You know, this isn't a unique problem that we're having in this part of the country. I mean, in the Pittsburgh area, some of the studies that I've seen down there where they anticipate upwards of over 100,000 job shortages in that region also, you know, in that whole southwestern part of the state in manufacturing jobs. I mean, this is a problem that's occurring across the country.
These jobs in manufacturing, you're absolutely right, Greg. The individual worker, by use of technology, is able to add a tremendous amount of value at very low cost. So yes, but they need to know how to do that. And the state with this costs money. And so you're eliminating those mistakes by having a better trained, better prepared workforce that has skills. They're not coming in with no skills. They're coming in with a certain level of post-secondary preparation in most cases that allows them to perform this.
It's my brother's HR in Miller Welding in Brookville, which is a pretty big company over there. And he says the same thing, we can't get kids. And, you know, people think these are dirty jobs. And so as we change perception, you know, we start to take down some of these barriers and give our kids chances to, you know, yeah, go to college, that's great. But also, if you don't want to do that, be ready to work. And then we work things in and make these connections and, you know, work with the employers around. You know, I think that's what part of what you're doing is giving us a great opportunity for. But it's all still perception. Like, we can't think that we all have to go to college, you know. I want my kids to go to college, but if they don't, I want them to be ready for something when they graduate. So,
if you could speak more specifically to the skill set that the kids who you see are walking in trying to apply for jobs and they're not ready for them. Can you do that?
I will say, and I think we have a lot of agreement within the manufacturing community, that for the most part, the kids that we're seeing today, they've got good skills. I mean, they understand what it is to come prepared to do a job, okay? I don't think that's as much of a problem as it's the soft side that becomes the problem.
Open campus pilot. The idea is this, and to me it's a big idea, and it crosses more than one, just a system. It crosses systems of schools. And it's where, in a day where we need to conserve resources, but yet we need to provide more college and career awareness for our students, we need to be partnering with our neighbors, like ECC, like the college, like Du Bois area. So we've even extended beyond the county. But the idea is this: we're not going to try and recreate a program here if we can do something with Du Bois and have kids go over there and they have the space. Now this is for programs that do not exist in the school. So if Kathy here was one of our students and she said she didn't want to have Mr. Schlimm for English, so she wants to go to Du Bois, we don't do that. However, if Mr. Schlimm is a student and he says, well, St. Mary's has this great fine arts, music, stagecraft block, we don't have that at Du Bois, could I go over and take that at St. Mary's? Sure. And in fact, and it's noted on your agenda, that's where our first open campus student already is. And that's students from Cameron County. So it's the idea of sharing these things across district lines at no additional cost and not recreating programs that are very close together. Kathy knows me when I was in Blair County, and I always said this: if Blair County, people think you go real far from Altoona to Hollidaysburg. Here, people think you go real far from St. Mary's to Du Bois. But in reality, if you lived in the Philadelphia area, that's nothing. People would die for a commute just going St. Mary's to Du Bois. But kids aren't used to that. But now we want to open that up to allow kids to go back and forth. Or in other words, and you'll hear about it, we have co-ops that exist in the county. Why not have academic co-ops? And that's what this is more like, an academic co-op where there's no cost to the districts. And if we start predominantly with junior and senior students, we would be able to provide more opportunities. Generally, they can drive and get from point A to point B. But that's the overall idea, and then that feeds into what Eric needs in business. The kids have an avenue for a career, and they're well-trained and get the credentials, whichever district that may be in, to be able to go to work where they need it in manufacturing or otherwise. Joe, with the regional colleges opening, and also wanting the kids to have high academic achievement, why not have students take some courses through the regional college, which is, and he'll explain how that works distance-wise.
There's no fear or trepidation on my part that he's going to try to eliminate 10 teaching jobs because we're going to send him to Du Bois. We don't have that. There's that trust that is there. And when I have teachers ask me a question, I tell them, I reassure them that that is not at all the purpose or the intention of this open enrollment. In fact, it may, as you said, it would probably be more likely to preserve teaching positions than it will be to eliminate them.
I think that as people do this, they should address it. For instance, it's very hard to find a Spanish teacher anywhere in the world. But we have one, and we have just about enough students to keep her busy and to make her be a full-time teacher. And I guess the concern can be, well, we don't have any other languages. And if we open up, if I have 10 kids leave to come take German over here, 20 to go take French at Johnsonburg, I might not then have enough kids to support the Spanish teacher. So that is something that we've been talking about and thinking about. That goes away if you can bring in, if 30 leave and 30 come in to take your Spanish class, then okay, you're good. But we've talked about this. The way that you get around that is you don't automatically just open up your entire course load to this. So some things you might say, well, that's not going to work because we're worried about that. For this it might work, for that it might not work, we might not have room over here. So I do think that there would be a need to be selective about that and guarded about it in some instances to make sure that you're...
going to offer something to another district and have kids come and partake of it, you have to have something to offer.
It's an exciting time to be here at St. Mary's High School because we're doing some creative, unique things that's good for kids. And that's what really kind of motivates us. So the 4 areas that we're going to send you, the first area is our Smart Lab. And it's really our recognition that STEM education is important. We need to do more in that area. We need to get kids using their hands and thinking in that type of capacity. So we're going to take you up and show you our Smart Lab, which is brand new. It was a $200 and some thousand investment that came from the Creative Learning Systems out of Colorado that we just put in here this past summer.
That makes sense. If you want to see some of the stuff that we have, they're all doing something different. And then we added
This was a full challenge, so we
across the hall over to our metal working and our building construction and our drafting / robotics area. And our teachers will be up there. You'll find these teachers are really kind of unique because they're not educators at heart. They are people that came from the private sector, people that come from industry, and they have that type of background, that type of thinking. But they're really good at connecting with kids and taking some of our most hardcore, our most challenging kids and getting them to really be an integral part of our school and our school culture.
Our program of studies is precision machining, but in the school it's called metalworking occupations because of Elk County. We have a lot of industry here, a lot of other opportunities. So we focus on precision machining, which would be lathes, mills, surface grinders. That's what their NIMS tests are about. But we do welding, fabrication, and we get lots of guys going to all those things. I mean, since I've been here, about 45 or 50 guys going right into a skilled trade, foregoing any type of secondary education and getting into apprenticeship programs. So there is a need for it here and it works out very well. We have a functional, tangible part when they're done, which creates interest. Their talents come to the surface, and maybe one guy's running the plasma cutter, maybe one guy's designing, maybe one guy's powder coating. But we try to rotate them around so that they can develop all their skills. And then
in here we still do a little bit of hand drawings at the very beginning in our intro drafting. Then we move the students over into AutoCAD, which is two-dimensional drafting. That we jump into three-dimensional drawings, and we use Solid Edge for that. And they have a nice program where we can actually get that for free.
This is just one that I did for my mother, and I used a piece of slate tile, and I sent it to Mr. Rieger, and we sent it to the laser engraver.
Currently, for our IT guy, we're creating a hard drive case. So if he wants to replace the hard drives, he has to buy the whole thing. But this is really all he's after. So so he has to buy it as a kit. So we talked and we said, hey, we can try to draw it up and see if we can build you one that works the same way, and then you don't have to be stuck buying the whole kit. So the last 2 weeks, week and a half, we've been just getting dimensions, drawing it up, printing off example ones, and see what we got. So we did the robotics competition as well. That's another thing that's in here. And
best and fancy in there.
Yeah, there's the best competition in the fall. Now that one they give you a set amount of materials you can use. Like half of them are unusable. You have to design something that can do something. Like this year's task was knock down cups, put out a fire, pick up a dummy to rescue it, get hazardous materials. So I drew up the majority of the parts from that, and we actually got to qualify for nationals. So we got to go to Fargo, North Dakota for a couple of days. Go out there and compete.
Then we will take you up this hallway to the far end of the building and have you see the programs that we offer, which our kids can obtain industry-recognized credentials. For the very first time, we have class that can get a EMT certification by being part of a particular program. They can get a certified nurse assistance certificate by being a part of this program. And this year, we just introduced firefighting. You'll see that there'll be a fire truck out there and a couple of our students dressed in their fire gear. You might have seen them as you came here today. They're excited to see you because they like to dress up as firemen.
The EMT course is designed to provide them the knowledge that they can do patient assessments, they can do CPR if someone's in cardiac arrest, they can treat for medical emergencies, trauma emergencies, pediatric emergencies, childbirth. They're prepared to do all of that. Some of them are skills that are not on our bucket list and we hope we don't have to do, but we are trained to do all of those. In addition to the hours that they put in school, it is a big time commitment on their part. They have to put a lot of hours in outside of the class. So they have to do some online courses through FEMA for the NIMS program. They have to do an online hazardous materials course. They also have to do CPR that's through the American Heart Association, but it's for healthcare providers. It's a little bit different than a typical CPR course. And then at the end of the completion of the course, they actually have to take a weekend course and they learn how to operate and drive emergency vehicles. They actually have to get a special, yeah, they're excited. They have to actually go through an obstacle, parallel park, an ambulance. So they have to be able to do all of that as well, and they'll take that. So when they graduate, they have all of the requirements done.
The last part of it, we'll like to take you down to our music, drama, and stagecraft department because the fine arts is an area that we historically have been very, very good at. And we have a lot of tradition. You'll see all the trophies and all the recognition that's hanging on the walls down there. But there's some things down there that we think that we are doing some good things. And Dr. Toth mentioned the music lab. This is kind of like our attempt to say, hey, let's put a block of time together during the course of the day, and these kids that might have a really keen talent or they might have a really specialized skill, we want those kids to go in there and receive, maybe they're great singers, maybe they're great piano players, maybe they're really good at drama, maybe they are really creative and artistic. We want those kids to go in there and really kind of develop those skills. So you'll see that particular department, and right now they're in the midst of getting prepared for the spring musical, so they're all kind of working together.
Part of what I want to talk about, and he wants to talk about today, is what we do to kind of collaborate and work together with ourselves, other departments, and students.
These seats 10, 15 years ago, we talked about collaborative teaching, and everybody told us what a great idea that was. And we're going to do more of that. And we used to sit there going, oh, for goodness sakes, the music people have done that for years. I'm sure it was modeled after music people. I'm sure somewhere in there it's been modeled after music people. But they give us the opportunity to have these kids. And now we're starting to reach out to a non-traditional music student. Because the skills that they can learn in here, they can apply directly to the room or as soon as they exit that door.
So one class that is new to us this year is the music lab. It kind of separates from us from other districts where they may not have this. A lot of districts have band choir, theory, things like that. But music lab is just a little different.
This class allows us, as music educators, to do our jobs. We're not sitting in a study hall. We know that we need to do study halls, we do. This class allows us to invite 15 kids in, prepare them in a way that we could not have done that if we had to meet them after school or between their jobs. And this is true life preparation for them. Because these kids are going to go out and be the next great citizens, right? So we're very, very lucky in that.
I wanted to talk a little bit about what Stagecrafts is. We have a young lady here that actually took Stagecrafts, so she can speak a little bit about what the class is like and kind of how I see it scalable to other schools. And you can do theater and feel comfortable about choosing theater as a career. Choosing theater as a career and an actor is an incredibly hard decision to make. That is a life of struggle and difficulty. It's like becoming a professional athlete, right? It's so challenging. There are union carpenters that work their entire lives in the field. There are union managers and union directors. Almost anybody on a film set that is not acting is in a union. The skills that they possess, right? They're good at problem solving and analysis. They're artsy, technical people. They are communicators, which we know moving forward are things that robots are not going to be able to take away from us, right? Interpersonal communication is something that is not going to go away. And they are incredibly organized. And so these are the marketable skills, the transferable skills that we're trying to foster in little old stage groups.